Boom. What is up, folks? Wolf Manga here, back at you with another new manga video, and what we've got in store for you today is going to be yet another edition of my monthly manga read series. And in today's edition, we are going to be talking about my October 2021 reading log. Unfortunately, this past month, I was not able to read as much manga as I initially anticipated, just due to the nature of my classes and starting a new job. I just really did not have too much time as I thought I would, but I did get some solid reads in, and I'm actually really impressed with some of the reads that I'll be talking about today. And unfortunately, I don't have every single physical volume here with me because in my last trip to Little Tokyo, I switched out some manga, and the manga that I read here, I had put back in my original collection. So unfortunately, I won't have everything here today, but hopefully I will be able to put up some nice artwork from the manga for your guys' viewing pleasure. So yeah, guys, I'm going to be talking about some pretty great titles in my opinion today, so please stay tuned for that. And if you do happen to enjoy today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And on top of that, if you guys are interested in buying manga from Right Stuff Anime today, one of my go-to manga online retailers, you'll get some amazing prices on top of supporting the channel, then please use my affiliate link down below in the description. And so yeah, guys, enough jibber jabber, let's get right into today's manga reads video. Alrighty, folks, so the first series we're going to be talking about today is going to be an absolute banger, one of my all-time favorite series thus far. It is a seinen historical fiction piece. You guys know it, Vinland Saga. This is going to be, I believe, books 9, or what is this one? 8 and 9. And where do I even begin with this, guys? I'm kind of addicted to reading Vinland Saga right now. 4 volumes is pretty solid for a month's worth. The things I want to note here is at the point Vinland Saga is at right now, at least in books 8 and 9, in my opinion, the symbolism is absolutely fantastic, in particular with its thematic exploration of subject matters like sexism, slavery, freedom, hope, and general aspirations. I just think it's really well done and captivating. In particular, with this iteration of Vinland Saga, book 8, this particular bird is really symbolic. I think it's very well done. And this character right here, super entertaining. I love her. Her name's Gudrid. You guys will meet her at some point, but she's super fun, super entertaining. An absolute gem of a character. On top of that, there is another character that we meet, Hild right here. Also a gem of a character, very different personality-wise, but one of my favorites by far. Hild is just really a fantastic addition to the team. It should also be noted that the artwork just continues to stay on point. In particular, the landscapes are really well drawn, and on top of that, one of my favorite things about this series is how they draw eyes. In like the first several volumes, in fact everything up until this point, they are consistently emphasizing the look that Thor's had, as well as the look that Thorfinn, however you pronounce it, has now attained. And the look in Thor's and Thorfinn's eyes, something that Thorkel and Floki have never really attained. Not only does it bother them, but it's something that they will probably never attain. And so while you guys are reading Vinland Saga, I highly encourage you to kind of formulate your own interpretation of what that look in their eyes truly means. Also, for Thorfinn, who's since turned over a new leaf, it's really nice to see him more optimistic about his future adventures, his future in general. He still is haunted by his past, but there is some semblance of hope, of optimism for a better and brighter future as he aims to accomplish his goals in the long run. He is having difficulty reconciling his current beliefs with his past, but he is nevertheless diligently aiming to sort of atone for his past sins. It may not be super easy at the moment, but he's certainly heading in the right direction. And you know what? Overall, I'm just really excited to continue reading Vinland Saga to see what happens with Thorfinn and company as they sail forward. And honestly, Vinland Saga is best experienced read and not just talked about, so make sure you guys catch up on your Vinland Saga reading. Let's move on to the next series. So the next series that I'm going to be talking about today is actually going to be my first ever josei series. I've never actually read any shoujo, believe it or not. Funny that I'm starting off with josei instead of shoujo, but that's all right. But anyways, this series is called Perfect World. I actually read volume 1. This is volume 2 right here. I haven't actually read this particular iteration of the series. This is basically about this architect and interior designer kind of rekindling an old friendship from high school, and presumably, you know, a romance will at some point develop. But the catch here is that when she does reunite with this individual after all these years, she learns he can no longer walk after some terrible tragic accident that occurred sometime after after they split ways after high school. And it's kind of like one of those tropes where, you know, she had like this crush on him in high school, and they were like good friends, they always got along, but neither of them really kind of confessed their feelings for one another. At least the girl never confessed, because she, you know, it's confirmed that she did like him in high school. And now she's kind of dealt with the situation where, you know, she is presented with the opportunity to talk to him again, but the feelings that may develop or that are still ongoing for him are kind of being tested, if you will. What I've noticed thus far in this read is this particular series, to me, has been very enlightening on what life is like for individuals in wheelchairs. It actually taught me a decent chunk about people with SCIs or spinal cord injuries, and the mangaka doesn't necessarily hold back in kind of unveiling what goes on in the lives of these individuals, the struggles, and in particular the medical problems that they do have to go through, because obviously a lot of individuals with these spinal cord injuries, they're unable to walk anymore. But the real issues, the problems don't just stop at that. They extend beyond it. Bed sores, something as simple as going to the bathroom, the struggle of having to go to the bathroom. It's kind of eye-opening, enlightening. It did teach me some things that I did not know about people who do sustain these kinds of injuries, and I think that's to be noted. I think that's very important, and I value that in this series. Very appreciative of what the mangaka has been doing so far. Another thing I do like about this is that this character over here, he doesn't necessarily want to be pitied. He just wants to be like any other person. In reality, he is just like any other person. Very, very, very good start in my opinion. I definitely would try it out if you do like josei or shoujo. And without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to the next series. The next series we have for you today is going to be Fly Me to the Moon Volumes 1 and 2. Now, this is a really fun kind of rom-com series. Super unrealistic, but definitely fun and comedic. The way this rom-com works, instead of like, you know, the main guy character meeting the girl and like a relationship forms and they get together by the end of the series, obviously a lot of funny things happen along the way. Instead of it being that kind of chronology, it's set up in such a way where they literally get married at the start and then their relationship forms, instead of like the reverse. I wouldn't necessarily say like the first couple volumes were like a banger, the way Quintessential Quintuplets was. I definitely think, you know, Quintessential Quintuplets is a bit better than this, but I do think that this series has potential, at least from what I've seen so far. I think it's supposed to be set up where there's a lot of mystery at the get-go of the story, and obviously that mystery will be slowly unraveled as we progress through this rom-com series. I think that's a strategic move by the mangaka. I could be wrong. Maybe things are just arbitrary. Maybe she just goes along with the marriage just to go along with the marriage because that's just how she is. But the way I interpreted it and the way I saw it, it felt like that was a setup for something later down the line. Maybe there's a reason that that she just so easily said yes to marrying the guy. And that is why I think there may be some potential with the series later down the line. So I would give it a shot if you are in a rom-com. And without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to the next series. So the next series we're going to be talking about today is an absolute banger once again. It is a seinen series. I believe it's like a sci-fi horror, and that is going to be Blom. I think it's pronounced Blom. It's spelled blame, but I think, from my understanding, at least with one of the Reddit posts I read, it's pronounced Blom. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. As I'm talking, I will put up some really, really epic artwork from the series, and that's one of the things I really wanted to emphasize here. The artwork is absolutely insane, in particular the landscape. I read the first two master editions. The way they do it is the master editions are kind of like almost like a Berserk Deluxe, where they're like super big, and it contains like 1 or 2 volumes inside, or 3 volumes, or however many. And man, I wish I could just show you guys here today, but I'll put up some pictures and stuff. But it's such a nice feel holding that really big manga in your hands and seeing these amazing, super detailed landscapes on top of other amazing, little elements of the, mangaka's artwork. Another thing that separates this manga from others is that there really is not a lot of dialogue, at least from these first 2 master editions. It's very heavy on the action, gore, and just like sci-fi art, but by God, it was intense. And sometimes you don't need a lot of dialogue to be really invested in a series. We're basically set in this distant future where cyber technology has become completely integrated with society. The cities are extremely complex. You'll see that in the artwork. But of course, there's going to be a catch because this is a sci-fi horror. To the detriment of humanity, the cyber technology somewhere, somehow develops this type of virus, which from my understanding ends up creating these like humanoid silicon, almost AI AIs, robots, cyborgs, or something like that. And so basically, it's about this guy's journey over here throughout this crazy dystopian labyrinth of sorts. I would highly encourage any seinen fan, any sci-fi horror fan to definitely give it a shot. In my opinion, thus far, it's been an absolute banger, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series. Alrighty, folks, and like I said, not a ton of series for today's video, but this last one is an absolute gem of a series, and that is going to be, as you can tell right here, To Your Eternity Volume 1. I finally started To Your Eternity by Yoshitoki Oima. Right from the get-go, I'm already completely enamored by it. And for those unfamiliar, as mentioned, this is another promising series from the mind of Yoshitoki Oima, who coincidentally is the same mangaka, the same creator of my personal favorite series, A Silent Voice. So this is basically about this immortal being that starts off in literally the form of an orb, and throughout the ages it takes on multiple different forms, like a lizard or a wolf, and so on and so forth, eventually human. And all of this is happening as it learns more about the world and tries to imitate the things around it. This may seem like a very odd concept, but you'll soon realize that as we dig a bit deeper, a bit further, that this is ultimately a Viator's journey towards understanding what it truly means to be human. And that's what is at this manga's core. What does it mean to be human? And boy, oh boy, words can't even describe how much I love this series so far. I've only read one volume, but I'm already freaking hooked. And I think it's so refreshing to see Yoshitoki Oima's artwork in another series under a different spotlight, if you will. And in just this first volume alone, there were already some really heartfelt moments, ones that almost got me kind of emotional. And one thing about Yoshitoki Oima that she does really well is she's able to make you really attached to these characters in just a few short chapters. And honestly, I can't see myself not liking the rest of the series. So yeah, guys, as mentioned, this is looking to be a very promising series. I highly recommend it to anyone who did enjoy A Silent Voice, the manga and or anime. And overall, I'm super eager to continue it shortly. Alrighty, folks, and that pretty much wraps up today's video, and that is going to be all the manga that I read in the month of October 2021. Again, not an insane amount of manga. I was really busy, but I do intend and hope to read a bit more manga now that midterms are over. Very excited. I'm already continuing my Vinland Saga and To Your Eternity grind. Super engrossed in those series, and I definitely recommend those, obviously. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and if you did happen to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below if you have any comments, questions, or manga suggestions. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.